Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today I've got the 2012 Audi A6. This is the 3.0T Supercharged V6. Let's go ahead and check it out. This Audi A6 with the V6 has 310 horsepower. It gets about 19 city, 28 on the highway, and it's pushing about 325 pound-feet of torque. It's equipped with an 8-speed automatic. Starting price on these was around $50,000, and with a few options and packages that Audi offered, you can get well over $65,000. Audi is known for all the options and trim levels that they offer, and you can go crazy speccing this one out with things like heads-up display, you know, the upgraded sound system, and very easily you'll be almost at $70,000 with one of these brand new. If you're in the market for an A6, you might also be looking at a BMW 5 Series, specifically the 535i, and a Mercedes E-Class or E350. You might also be considering the Infiniti M37. With all those options in mind, the Audi is not so bad. Price-wise, it's priced fairly and similar to those in its class. Now, where this A6 really beats the competition is styling. Check that out. This car looks stunning. Even a few years later, it still looks relevant. Almost 9 years later, and this car looks beautiful. The paint is holding up. Everything is aging really well. The styling of the A6 borrows from other Audi models as well. It'll look comparable to the A4, the A8. All the Audis kind of have the similar styling nowadays, but the A6 has got to be my favorite. It's just the right size, and it's nice and bulky. Notable exterior touches is this line on the trunk, which gives it a nice sporty appearance. We have these wheels, which is part of the package. Looks much nicer. And over here on the side, you get the supercharged emblem. Pretty cool. Now let's go on to the front, and this is my favorite part. Look how mean that looks. These headlights with the slim center design looks amazing. Let's turn on the LEDs and see what it looks like. Now you really have to see this in person to appreciate, but Audi's lighting is never disappointing. Now the best part about this car, and if I ever bought one, if I ever owned one, it would be for the interior. Let me show you what I mean. Right off the bat, this interior looks stunning. I think Audi makes by far the best interiors, and this Audi A6 interior is no exception. The black and silver accents just go really well. The steering wheel looks amazing with the center Audi piece. The MMI console and the controls, everything it just makes sense. You have a screen up here that pops up, and that just completes the interior. This is by far, 100 times better than BMW interiors back in 2012. The materials have aged really well. If you were to get into a BMW from 2012, everything would be squeaky, and there would be a lot of plastics fading. Door trims would be, wearing, but this interior looks flawless after 9 years. Go ahead and start it up. do have blind spot monitoring integrated into the mirror. It's brilliant. I like the location right there rather than on the actual glass. Worth mentioning that these knobs are very high quality and they feel very sturdy. Everything in here is high quality. Everything is pleasant to operate and just makes sense. These cup holders are a little small. A little bit of a design flaw. If you put a cup in here, the lid will bump this armrest. So if you're putting an iced coffee in here, there's not really much room to have a second drink, or you might be bumping this armrest. Extra storage right here, perfect for a phone or wallet. I'm a big fan of having physical buttons for climate control, so I'm glad that that's not part of the screen. And everything on the screen is operated through here. You do have navigation. You have Bluetooth and all the other options you would expect. And over here we have driving modes. So right now it's on auto. You can make it on you can put it on comfort or dynamic for a little bit of a sporty driving. Now when it comes to operating your music or the radio, I do love the steering wheel controls. It makes sense. This dial right here for the volume is brilliant. It's so easy to operate. You do have heated seats, more controls over here, and everything is just high quality and easy to access. We have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and the cruise control is back here. They did a great job with this. You don't have to take your eyes off the road at all, and everything's where you need it to be. For more control of your music, and you have these two buttons right here to skip tracks, and your volume and power button as well. Very easy to navigate and reach with your arm while you're going down the road, so you don't have to take your eyes off the road. Check out the sunroof. It's a little small for a vehicle of this size. It's about the same size as the sunroof in the Audi A4. I wish it went back a little bit further. It just doesn't really open up the interior enough. Love this silver aluminum, or this aluminum accents with the Quattro. Super premium. The headrest is super easy to adjust. You even have this button to slide it back and forward, so you got a lot of control over that. When it comes to family-friendly options, you have child lock controls for the windows, but you can operate them separately for either side. I also have a car seat in the back, so let's check out the space with the front-facing car seat installed. The back seat is pretty spacious, and like I said, we have this front-facing car seat installed, and the front seats are at a comfortable recline. There's plenty of legroom for your toddler to be kicking around and not feel crammed. Center armrest with storage. These cup holders are a little bit awkward to use, especially if you gotta pull on this and then place your drink inside. It's not that great, for children, or if you're reaching back and placing a drink back here. The cup holder situation in this car is not great overall. You do get a trunk pass-through. And check this out, heated seats in the back seat. You will not be missing out back here. There's a lot of options. You got AC vents as well, which is important for children and any passengers in the back. Here's another view of the sunroof from the back seat. It is really small for this vehicle. It's nice to have, but I just wish they made it a little bigger. Premium materials do carry over to the back seat. You have the aluminum and the speaker outline. Everything is just super nice, good quality, soft close and open. Check out the molding around the doors. It's got these grooves in it and it just looks like a really solid build. Super nice, gives it a super luxurious feel. When you shut the doors, it sounds like a solid built door, you know, no rattles, just very premium overall. Let's pop the hood. There it is, supercharged V6. Beautiful looking engine. It's got a ton of power, super smooth. So we talked about how much one of these will cost you when it's new, but how much should you expect to pay in 2021? So 9 years later for an Audi A6. Well, with these German vehicles, and especially these Audis, it all depends on miles. So if it's 100,000 miles or more, then you should be paying somewhere around 10 grand. But for a well-maintained Audi A6 like this one, this has 60,000 miles. It's loaded with a generous amount of options and it's very well taken care of. Something like this will run you about $17,000, and if you really get a good deal, somewhere around $15,000, $16,000. So for $15,000, would I buy one of these Audi A6? Well, before I tell you that, let's go ahead and drive it. I'm gonna set out some cones and we're gonna do some driving around this parking lot. A lot of reviews that I read, a lot of people were complaining about the steering wheel not feeling real or not having any feel to it. Let's see, let's see how I feel about that. Let's see if I can notice that. So the steering wheel does feel very shallow. There's no feel to it. I'm gonna change modes. I'm gonna stop for a second. I'm gonna change modes and put it in dynamic, because right now it's in auto. I'm gonna switch it to dynamic and I'm gonna see if that makes any difference in the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and try it out. So in dynamic, the steering wheel feels a little heavier, but it's not consistent. Like the feedback is heavy at first and then like super light through the turn. It's kind of sketchy if you ask me. It's something that you got to get used to. So this car is, easy to drive the way the steering wheel is. It's super easy to drive, but it's not something that I would say has good handling, just because the steering wheel is inconsistent. So I have to agree with that. Well, I'm gonna try something new. In this video, I did bring some cones with me. I'm gonna set them up back here in this parking lot and we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna do some handling and some braking tests and just see how this thing drives. So it can't really build up a lot of speed here, but the engine is smooth and very responsive. No complaints, no lags. I do love the power. And so let's go back here and set up these cones. Okay guys, so I got kicked out of the other place, that parking lot where I was gonna try to set up cones. Security was not happy with that, so we're gonna try it out here. Found a dead end and I set up some cones up there. So I'm gonna drive through it. We'll see how this Audi A6 handles. And then after the cones, I'm gonna slam on the brakes and see the stopping distance. I'm filming inside first and then I'll get you an outside view. Let's go ahead and do it. Overall impression after the performance testing is that, the braking is exactly what you'd expect and no complaints there. Performance is there, the engine's smooth, acceleration is smooth, the quattro system's brilliant. Takes off, no sliding or losing traction or anything like that. The way it applies the power to the ground is brilliant. My only complaint is going to be the steering. When I put it through the slalom and the cones, it was so shallow and vague. It was very difficult to kind of know what's going on. So handling, I gotta give this vehicle a 7 out of 10. Performance, I would give it a 8.5 out of 10, just because it moves pretty well for its size. And as far as braking, I would give it a 10 out of 10. That ABS system and the traction is excellent. Could be even better with a, you know, stickier tire, but no complaints there safety wise. Well, thanks for watching this video, guys. It was fun. I did enjoy the performance testing and the handling tests. I'm gonna do more of these. I hope to incorporate more drills and whatnot once I find like a better location. But for now, I'm gonna pack up these cones and see you in the next video. Before you go, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. Thank you so much.